What's up, boys? We're back with some more Conquest Dark Early Access. We're still finishing off some of these 3 skull areas, and today we're going to be trying out the coolest class in the game, the Acolyte of Cool. So this is a Lunar Mage. What is that? Tier 2? I have no idea. So it's a Lunar Mage, which is basically frost stuff, and then here we are looking for the dual wielding thing, I think, that gives attack speed, and then this will unlock a passive ability that gives bonus energy generation. So that will allow us to basically cast our power skill a ton once I unlock that. We'll go the lunar shard here, or the ice shard I mean, that deals lunar damage. Because it's ranged, we can cause it to pierce through enemies, and it'll generate 10 energy for every enemy hit. Comes with some bonus freeze chance. And then I've upgraded some of the frost abilities we're going to be using here. So let's go with this so that we have some freeze chance going, and then whenever we freeze them we'll have some bonus damage as well. So here's what we're looking for. 5 icy projectiles fall from the sky dealing lunar damage. This is basically Blizzard, and it'll get really crazy once we can cast that a ton later on. This class has a barrier mechanic. It seems to just generate over time, I think when you're not taking damage, and then one of the movement abilities can also give you a big burst to that. So it'll absorb a lot of damage later on, and you don't have to prioritize healing as much as the other classes. Let's keep pumping up the freeze here for now. But really, I'm going to try and get as many projectiles on the blizzard thing as possible, and then scale up the energy generation on the ice shards so that we can have just a ton of them constantly raining from the sky at all times. Let's lock onto that guy, and then we'll try and, well, I guess he's already dead, okay. Let's see. Let's reroll, see if we can find some like rare item chance so that I can find better stuff throughout the run. This one has some bonus barrier that actually looks pretty good. That'll give a ton of survivability, bit of movement speed throughout the run. And then we'll start upgrading Blizzard, see what we can get on here. We can get chance to freeze, that's okay. Projectile amount, that sounds cool. So I guess I don't actually have a ton of runes unlocked yet that can help that one out. Ooh, double shot projectile amounts. So I guess we'll have to start putting some stuff onto the ice shard to get some more energy generation now. I do have the piercing rune, which is like, I think +3 currently, so that can potentially 4 times the number of targets we can hit with the ice shards if I can line enemies up properly for that. Okay, so here's the quick strike that we unlocked with the origin. It generates 3 energy whenever it triggers. It does deal primal damage, but this one doesn't deal damage at all. It does do freezing, but we want to get as many blizzards as possible, so more energy generation it is. And that's supposed to be whenever we use the ice shards, so if we can get extra attack speed on those, then that should scale up both of those as well for even more insane energy. Oh man, that was like 11 minutes for this ritual, so that's like 30 plus minutes for a run now, I guess. Let's get a bit of attack reach and movement charge here. That'll make it a bit easier to hit the long-range bosses like this. So I guess there's nothing super important for this, right? Chance to freeze, primordial. Yeah, we can get some nice damage for it later on. I guess I can't even swap that now. Let's go with the critical chance, make it a bit more consistent. And then we'll get ice shard, see if there's anything to increase the generation there. Ooh, projectile split chance, that sounds cool. But I think these will probably be better. +3 pierces is just so insane. And then here we can grab probably some movement speed. I don't think attack arc works on anything I have here. It seems like a cleaving attack thing. Attack speed crit looks pretty good. These are kind of low rarity though. Let's see if we get anything better or if there's like some rare item chance. I like getting that early on if possible. Barrier amount's not bad, but attack reach, I guess it would be fine. We can get big barrier amount and crit damage there. That looks great since we got the crit chance on the blizzard already. And we'll be able to get some crazy blizzard barriers now with all of those items. Oh, I've never seen the leaping spiders before. Jump scare out of nowhere. That looks pretty good. Actually, all of these look good. I think what we'll do is we'll max this out since that's reliant on them being frozen. So we get crowd control and damage at the same time. Talking spider. Uh-oh. Is that a purple? We have all of these, so I think I like that one. Although it might not help the most here, and then we'll get Ice Shard for the energy generation. And then instant attack chance is like a double shot chance, so that's very good. But I'm curious how the split actually works with the piercing. Damage you reflect is also dealt to enemies around the initial target. I don't think I even have anything for that. It's primary attack, speed increased by 10%, stacking up to 10 times. That sounds insane. We have a bonus to attack reach there with some lunar damage. Seems fine. We can upgrade the projectile split. Oh, energy cost reduction. That would be fantastic. Although we already have 2 runes. Okay, well, we need to unlock it anyways. But that would have let us make even more blizzards here if I had it unlocked already. So here's our movement abilities. This is the barrier recharge thing. So I guess we may as well take that since it also has some great survivability rolled into it. Also seems to upgrade the range a bit here. So what can I put on the quick strike? Crit damage or chance of freeze? I don't think we can even get lunar damage on that. But I guess we'll have to take that at some point. Since I am out of rune slots and runes to use anyways. Oh yeah, one thing I missed the first time around is the silver coin resource up there. You actually use those in the archives to upgrade your abilities, which gives them a small little boost to damage. And then every 5 levels, I think it is on them, you can add an extra rune slot. So if you max it out, I think it's up to 3 maximum rune slots for each ability, which is actually a pretty huge increase with some of the bonuses that some of them have. You can left click on elites to have your auto aim target them if you're in range. Also pretty nice. Chance for rare items, would have loved that early on, but I might still go for it. Dual crit and damage to healthy. And that would synergize with one of the passives we haven't taken yet. Honestly, I think that sounds good for some huge damage. And then we have to take the freezing thing, although I don't know if it works on that at all. I don't think there's a way for me to add lunar damage to something that doesn't have it. At least not that I've seen yet. Alright, we can max out the freezing effects. Piercing crits passive, that's the quick strike, which is primal damage, so that's kind of junk for me. I think we'll take resistance piercing. Some of the bosses seem to take much lower damage than regular trash mobs, and I think that's because of resistance, but I don't know the exact mechanics on it. I just know that they're very hard to kill, and I'm assuming that stat should help a lot with that. Let's see, movements. I don't think that even does damage, so that's kind of weird. I guess we'll take some block chance since I'll be having a barrier for most of the damage I'm taking anyways. So we can upgrade one of the runes here. Ooh, projectile pierce. Ability damage is not bad. We can go with that. I think we'll go into obliterate. Get 2 different damage stats at the same time. Passive is the quick strike. That's not very good, so more XP it is. For even more damage here. This is one of the easiest bosses I've seen so far. He just does a short range jump in a few small circles. Damage he reflects, I guess we may as well. Oh, a new rune, damage to frozen, that would have been pretty good here as well. But rip. Resistance piercing, I think we'll get that just in case it does help out with the bosses. Crit lunar crits. Yeah, I guess we may as well. And then a new attack reach rune, okay. I think with that I could actually try out that melee spell we saw at the start for the primary attack. I just decided to go with the crossbolts because I figured it would be kind of hard to stay in melee at some points, while we can just constantly throw the ice shards and have them pierce all over the place. But having some extra sources of attack reach would definitely help out a lot with builds like that. Am I just permanently freezing that guy? Primal is pretty junk. That does literally nothing. I think primal resistance is the most common damage type enemies do, so that's fine. We can get another obliterate, but barrage is more fun, so barrage it is. Attack reach movement isn't bad. Honestly, let's take a point or two into barrier mastery just so that I always have very good survivability. Alright, that is a lot of jumping spiders now. I'm thinking projectile pierce, that seems to be doing a lot of work here. That's actually pretty good as well. I think that's a bit more globally useful. You can also use that on melee builds with like cleaving attacks and stuff. So we'll do stuff like that, I think. Projectile duration isn't bad though. Let's go more barrage here. Gee, crit chance or crit chance? Let's go with this one. Let's get barrage, that's almost maxed out, and more projectiles is always more fun. Okay, that was actually very easy for a 3-skull thing. Shield of Vengeance, Fire Arrow Barrage, cool. Still unlocking a lot of stuff. Oh, Falling Comets. Leap into air and crash down as a frozen comet, up to 6,000% lunar damage? Oh, it's split evenly. Still sounds pretty cool though. Alright, so what we're going to try is a melee-based version of that build then. So what we can do here is upgrade Conjured Blade to level 5 for an extra rune slot. And then we'll try out the Fallen Comet thing. Oh, that's movements. And then, is there anything else that'd be cool there? I think I still want Quick Strike for the generation. For power... The Blizzard thing's just so cool. Yeah, I think we will stick with that. But we'll try out the Conjured Blades this time. See how that compares on this one. Oh, I have 4 of them now. I don't know. Oh, that's probably the guild level you have for them, I guess? I think 7 is correct for those. Okay, so attack reach will actually help out a bit with the melee build here. And then we'll want the dual wield attack speed again for extra energy generation. Although actually the attack arts thing would be kind of cool too. I think that has a pretty good dash attack. So we're going Conjured Blades, and this comes with some extra freeze and ability damage? No, it comes with extra lunar damage and projectile amounts. That's for the basic attack. And I think that's a global upgrade, basically. So we definitely want some attack reach this time so that the blade will hit more enemies and generate more energy. And then also, I think I want that on manual aim so that I can get juicier hits with it. Alright, grab our Blizzard attack. And then I think I will put the first rune onto the blade thing. We can go Barrage here, so that I can get to that new attack reach rune we just got and make it easier to hit more enemies and generate energy with it. Let's get at least a level or 2 in Barrier Mastery, since we are kind of a melee mage this time. And also, if I take the Comet thing, then I'm going to have a lot less barrier generation on this run as well, which is going to be kind of a double whammy with the melee build, I think. So Conjured Blades finds that attack range thing. There we go, attack reach. And then those are both junk, crit chance it is. Oh, there's set bonuses now, huh. That looks kind of cool, freeze and crit damage. Movement charges, that would actually be pretty good for the Comet thing. I don't think the mage had a source of movement charges, so that could actually be pretty handy, and that has some early rare chance. So grab Quick Strike, although that actually would be pretty good this time on a melee build, but I want the energy generation. I think we do want at least a point in that to get the freeze chance up a bit. Oops. Meant to dash to the side there, but right into him. And then here... let's go with some Frostfall. And get the cost reduction, I think. Is that the second one I would want? Probably. Well, I'll definitely want projectile amount, and then we'll see what else I get there. So this will give us a... Wait, I already have one for that? Can I see my stats here? Oh, that would take me from 1 currently to 2. Okay, that makes more sense. So healing, crit chance, barrier sounds kind of nice. Oh, they're all part of the set, so we'll take the one with the +1 then. And now having the second charge on that will be fantastic once we get the Comet upgrade for it. Since I really want to experiment with that and use it for damage, we'll have a second one to use as a escape also. Let's get some more astral reach here. And then I'm just trying to hit as many enemies as possible with a sword attack so that we cast as many blizzards as possible with all the energy. I feel like the random dodges are really weird. It just makes your damage kind of inconsistent at points. Okay, here's our fallen comets. Yup. Okay, that is a really long cast animation, wow. I don't know about that. Seems like I'm not really attacking during that either. I think that's actually a downside. Like, I guess if you have an isolated boss, you can do a big chunk of burst damage to him. But that does not seem good here. Just such a long cast animation. Let's go Conjured Blade and probably take the double attack chance on that, I think. Those are fine. I'm thinking that, although that actually sounds kind of funny. Yeah, I think I'm gonna try the arc and see what happens with that. Let's go with Primal Resistance. Let's see, so we can get increased proc chance. I don't know what that would really do. Maybe for the splitting effect we had on the Frostbolt last time would fall under that. So do we get more bonuses at like 4 and 5? I'm kind of curious. No, it's only 2 and 3 set. So we might actually want to go for the cultist stuff then, and then that has some pretty good stats as well. Yeah, I think we'll do that and then try to do like a 2-set combo if we can. Damage you reflect, primary attack. Ooh, that sounds cool. Enemy afflicted with freeze dies to ice shards that pierce through all enemies, healing lunar damage. I think this is so good we should take that first, but we definitely want that one second now then. Ooh, new rune to unlock. Then let's get some more freezing stuff here. is just such a long animation to not be primary attacking during. I just can't see that being worth it on the build here, unfortunately, since it sounds really cool. Let's take another barrier mastery for the survivability, since that is my only source of it now. And then we have all of these. We can just upgrade some of the crit stuff, since that's pretty generically useful. This build would be so much better if I took teleport for this run. Let's get some more frostfall. 75% damage to frozen. That's probably too good to pass up on one of our main abilities here. And then we'll get some crit chance. So we can get proc chance, or we can get the 2-set there. I don't mind getting some survivability since we're kind of melee here. That is some pretty good crit damage. But we can also get that for the 3-set. Yeah, that sounds good. Get some extra freeze for now, and then some huge crit damage later on, hopefully. Actually, wait, how many item slots are there? Looks like 5, I think, that you can actually get stuff for. These are the items you start with for, like, the weapons and stuff. Let's go a bit more barrier, keep that survivability really strong. The issue with the sword is that we pretty easily drop the stacks on that when we kill everything. Whereas with the range attack, we could usually keep that up. I think we'll take some more barrier here, since they actually are hitting it pretty hard right there. And I guess we can... oh, I might have made a mistake. Oops. Well, actually, we can stay a bit outside of the range, chop everything up, and then drop some blizzards on them, maybe? And he's all alone, so we can go for a big comet, I guess. Yeah, the comet just does not seem good here. We can get a bit of value out of that here, that's fine. Then grab our Frostmoon pendants. So we can get the 3 sets for either of those. Barrier and Lunar is pretty nice. Ooh, attack reach and barrier. I think I like that for the big crit damage. Then we'll probably take some quick strike upgrades, see if there's anything to increase the energy generation there. Nah, all junk. I guess crit stats it is. Well, I could put those on the comets, and then we could go for a big one-shot with that. It just doesn't seem good. But I guess we'll try it? It's just so slow, it's hard to use without losing a ton of damage. Okay, that's actually really fun, buzzsawing them into a ton of lizards. You have to keep that up to use the stupid comet thing. Get some more attack reach here. Alright, time to put some crit onto this stupid comet thing, see if it can actually become decent. We can max out the barrier, get the survivability really good here. So we've got a big dick on it now. Should be some good crit damage. Yep, that's garbage. And then this does nothing here, I think. Like with this many enemies and the damage split, it just does less than like a single hit of the blizzard. Well, 30k there. I guess that was a crit on just a few guys. Yeah, I guess if it crits, it's not bad for a boss, but it just doesn't feel good with how slow it is, I feel like. Let's get the attack reach. Cool build other than the wizard though, just wish we had taken teleport for the survivability. Alright, he's all alone. 24k, really not impressive. Yeah, that skill is pretty ungood. And I don't really have a move ability to react to him now, because it's so slow and he just sits under it anyways. Let's get some movement there. Can I, like, jump over here, have him move under there alone, and then hit him for only 3,000? And then he just stuns me and one-shots me with nothing I can do because I don't have a movement ability? That's really cool, man. Barrier now begins recharging immediately at twice the normal speed, 100%. Explode dealing 5% lunar, multiplied by the amount of barrier you had to enemies around you. Interesting. Fire traps, sigil of flames, spike balls, cosmic ray. That sounds cool. Chained ×3. Man, That was a letdown for a frozen comet that deals 6,000% damage. That would have been easy if we had an actual movement ability there, or if it dealt actual damage to bosses. But I liked the melee build other than that. If we had teleports for the barrier recharge, that actually would have been fantastic. 50% every 3 seconds, and we had some bonus recharge speed as well. Would have been pretty easy with that. But that's going to be it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.